Hi everybody, Healthy Prepper here. Let's talk today about the touchstones of survival and preparedness. The first thing you absolutely want to have handled in your survival world is water. You can only go 3 days maximum without water. Everybody has different availability to water. It's very, very important that you know your source now. Identify it. For example, we have a lake at the back of our property, and that would be our water source if for some reason one day I turn on the tap and no more water pours. So it's a good idea to look around in your area to find out where's the closest water source that it would be possible to retrieve water from in case of such a scenario. I just came back from Arizona, and it's very dry out there, and water is a huge, huge issue. And it's obviously vital that everybody have a plan as to what you're going to do to keep the water flowing. Then you need to think about how you're going to purify the water. In my case, we've got the lake out back, so I've got several filtration systems, iodine tablets, and different kinds of mechanical filters and things like that. And I'll go over those a different time. So I definitely want you thinking about water, number one. A lot of the food that we're going to use over time to prepare is going to be needing water. You're going to be cleaning in water, cleaning your environment, cleaning yourselves. So make sure you have access to water and you know how to make it drinkable or potable. The next thing, food. What would you do if the stores were empty in 3 days, which is highly possible in a time of an apocalyptic pinch or economic collapse, etc.? This would obviously be a very bad case scenario, EMP, something like that. And the trucks just were not coming to refill the stores. What would you do about food? The answer is prepare now. You want to do this now so that you have something to sustain you while you're trying to establish or reestablish food lines again. Hopefully the trucks will come again. You may need to garden, plant, hunt, things like that to supply food for you and your family. The next thing to absolutely have in place is shelter. And it's important to have your home base and have it as secure as you possibly can. But then I want you to think of from your home base being the center of a star or a cross, and you radiate out from there in different directions. You can go north, south, east, west. You can do 5 points in either direction, however you want to do it. In other words, here's your home, and you want to have something like this, locations that you can get to in case you can no longer stay at your house. Let's say civil unrest happens and you need to bug out or leave your main place to stay. Have six or so different locations identified, or you can also do it in a cross formation and have 4, because you don't know what your route of escape may be if need be. So ideally these other places would be set up with some supplies, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the only plan. Even if you can't afford to get extra places or bunk in with friends at different locations, you can still have a plan of where to go or where to meet. You can have this pre-decided to tell your family, okay, if something happens, I'm going east, and this is where we meet, and everybody meet there. So have a place, your shelter, and a few backups of shelter in mind. Medical is the next touchstone. It's very, very important at the bare minimum to have triple antibiotic ointment, hydrogen peroxide, and some antibiotics. Those 3 things will get you through 99% of most pinches. So remember that, triple antibiotic ointment, hydrogen peroxide, and some antibiotics. The next thing I'd like to bring up as a major touchstone is psychology. Some may call this spirituality or your state of mind. But basically, it's very, very important you think now about how you will handle a major stressor in your life in case something happens. It's a good idea to start training yourself. Teach yourself what to do in a stressful situation. Teach yourself to relax. There are certain relaxation techniques that you can learn how to do, head to toe relaxation, meditation, things like that. Learn to understand fear and excitement, and understand that they are a lot of the same physical sensations in your body. We just give them different titles. Sometimes that will help alleviate some of the fear, and you may lean more towards the feeling of exhilaration. So when you feel that anxiety or stress, bridle that energy, because you can use it to save yourself or save others. When you use it in a very focused and linear manner, you have a lot of energy under those circumstances, and if you point it in the right direction, you can move mountains, just like a mother who would move a car that's on top of her child who's pinned down underneath. So think about that. Now, if you're always inside preparing and cocooning away, it's very important to, and you live in a relatively comfortable life or lifestyle, it may be important to understand or learn about how you will deal with serious stress when you're taken out of your environment or out of your comfort zone. It's a good idea to challenge yourself to grow and expand in this area, and you can do this by planning adventures or camping or do safe, risky things. You may want to, learn how to drive a motorcycle or consider skydiving, but just certain things to experience what it's going to be like to be in a stressful situation, to see how you manage the stress. That this can be learned. I really want to emphasize that this can be learned. And it's wonderful if you can harness that. So I encourage you to embrace the monster of fear and stress and anxiety and learn how to capture that energy. Another thing that brings people more peace of mind and security is running drills. People feel more comfortable when they've gone through something several times. So it's a good idea to run drills with your family. Let's pretend we've decided something bad has really happened and we need to do something. All right, what are we going to do with water, food, shelter, medical, and our psychology? And run some drills in each area to see if you can get you and your family used to thinking in these methods. When it becomes second nature, you'll run on automatic pilot in a stressful situation. So give yourself and your family that peace of mind by doing these. The next thing is community. While the lone prepper can survive and survive very well, it's a lonely existence, and odds are people will band together in communities, obviously until supplies run short. Then you might have civil unrest in the community itself. But your odds are stronger in a community because it does take a lot of manpower to survive. And you can certainly garden and cultivate and hunt and things like that much more easily, and also protect yourself as a community better in numbers. So think about that. Look at the community that you're in. Odds are your community will be your local community unless you have a prepper community set up somewhere. But you always have to factor into the possibility that you may not be able to get to wherever they are. So really take a good, long, hard look at who's around you in your neighborhood, in your apartment building, wherever it is. These are the people that you could potentially be relying on for your life one day. The next touchstone is protection. Now, whether or not you are a weapons or gun person or not, it's very smart to understand how to operate a weapon. Let's hope we never have to use them, but if it ever comes to pass that you're in a situation where you definitely need to use one, you don't want to be the one going, God, I wish I would have taken that course, or I wish I would have had somebody show me how to shoot this darn thing in case of a pinch. Nope, you don't want to be in that position. You just want to know how to grab it and use it if you have to. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of weapons out there. You've got guns, knives, crossbows, all sorts of things. But you can also train in self-defense and combat. And there's training for all different ages and levels. It's a good idea to train in personal self-defense as well as home defense, so you can understand how to protect your home if it ever came under attack. It's very important to always be vigilant, but not fearful. So these are some things to definitely think about. It's also a good idea to think about situational awareness. When you're walking around and you're looking in your community, always keep a mindful eye of what's going on around you at all times. And when you take your walk in your local neighborhood, make a game of it and test yourself to see if you can remember where things are or what color somebody's front door is, or things like that. It will make you more aware of things, just in case there are bad times. We'll definitely be able to be already trained in that area. So stay awake and stay alert. That's probably more important than any weapon. And then the last touchstone I'd like to mention is skills. It's important during these times of relative peace that we improve our skills. It's a good idea to develop unknown skills to you, possibly fishing, hunting, sewing, cooking, gardening. It's a good idea to try a few of these. Try something you've never tried before. Give it a go. This is part of the adventure and the training about the different types of situations to put yourself in. It's very, very good to be adaptable, because if you're adaptable, you can survive in any environment. And that's a huge part of the psychology of survival. It's a good idea also to know your local plants and animals, so you know what snakes are dangerous, what plants can be eaten, which ones to avoid, what animals can I eat in my local area if need be. So here you go, folks. These are my personal touchstones for survival and preparedness. There's a lot of information out there on these topics in enormous detail, and I encourage everybody to take a look and see what you think. Just stay focused, stay safe, and let's keep thinking and moving forward. Healthy prepping, everybody. Stay safe.